What up?
What's good?
Start one of these. Yes. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to World's Finest, The Throne Zone. Obviously, you know, we do every Sunday following the newest episode of House of the Dragon as we get on here and break it down as best we can. Given we just saw that, you know, this is the best time to do it. You just saw the episode. Everything's fresh in your mind. Also, you don't got time to think about too much shit, but we'll probably still overthink a lot of shit because that's how we do it. How you guys doing, man?
Not too bad.
Wow. Yeah. The episode was insane. Let's check this chat real quick, see who's all up in here. Rhea said, "Oh my god, episode, y'all." Yes, Bill agreed. Yep, what's up, Rhea? V's in the house, fires the prison, waters the escape. Dope. Let's see. Leno lives virtual. Yeah, man.
Spoilers.
Amen. Yes, hey man. I'm sure we'll get to as we do at the end of the show. We'll show the preview for next week's episode. You know, this many episodes left, guys, in this season. 3 episodes left. So
yeah, Viserys can't even count on how many episodes are left.
Yo, if you know what. It's just for ridiculousness sake, I hope Viserys shows up in episode 1 of season 2.
Oh man,
just see how long he can.
Let's see how long.
Maybe they'll taxidermy him and just kind of preserve. He needs some preservatives right now.
Yeah, he needs something.
Reyes says, "I don't know what I'm gonna do without the." Same. It's
got Andor. Andor's gonna flow on through till December. You're good, man.
Yeah. I'm saving it all too. I haven't watched an episode.
It's dope.
I'm gonna save it for when Rings of Power's done, House of Dragons done. Then I'll have that waiting on me.
There you go.
A little binge
nice, man. Nice.
I heard a lot of good things too.
It's fire. Andor's fire. I wish I had that type of patience. I don't. So, anyway, I threw up the thing. So, spoilers. Whatever comes after this is spoilers for House of the Dragon, episode 7 from season 1. Obviously, House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones in general. I think the term "grimy" that I like to use, that word originated in probably one of his books, in one of the George R.R. Martin books or something, because that's what this show is. It's just grimy, dude. The entire look. The episode opens up. Obviously, it's the funeral that they're doing for what's her name? Lena. Yeah, I miss my name. I'm bad with names, man. I'm just gonna make sure you know that shit going ahead. I forget them just like that. But so they're there to do that. Damon busts a laugh out. I'm like,
yeah, that was.
But, you know, Damon is the king of poor taste when it comes to situations like that. He literally giggled during that dude's speech. And I was like, and nobody said shit. That's how you know it's Damon talking. But so anyway, so we're in this setting. And yes, Andor's fire. Yes. Yeah. What up? Ryan Rivera was good. Ryan, 37. Yo, same for sure. We'll get to that towards the end of it. But the actual ceremony wasn't this, it was right after the ceremony. There's all of the main characters are in this small, I don't know what you call a patio, I guess you could call it, and everything is absolutely grimy from start to finish. Eye looks, fucking side eyes, slight conversations. So I'll start with you, Joey, man. What'd you think, man? Just take us through your first, I guess the first 5 minutes of the episode, man.
I mean, it weirdly felt like tensions were just kind of at an all-time high for this show in particular, which is weird because it's been tense throughout, so that's a very high bar. But yeah, it almost felt like after a wedding reception, you know, when everybody's drunk and they're kind of just hanging around and all that stuff. Yeah. But it's a funeral, and I'm like, I don't think anybody's grasping like the reality of what just happened, especially Damon, who laughed during the funeral.
Yeah. His own wife's funeral, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you could kind of just feel like all that boiling, and like, obviously, if you saw the trailer, you knew that tensions were going to boil over. You just weren't sure how exactly we were going to get there. But no, it was a really good start to the episode, and I also like how it, I won't jump too far ahead, but I like how this pretty much just like was just within the span of one night, and like like later into that day, but like it was very self-contained, I guess.
Yeah, it was. Do you want me to call you Crow, or are you good?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know like what the names would be. Like, that just popped up. Crow is my nickname, like Storm Crow Gandalf.
Hey, there you go.
Fits in with the team. My name's Brian. You can call me either or. It's interchangeable.
Yeah. I told you, bad with names, bro. But no, Brian. So what'd you think? First 5 minutes of the episode, we get to this, like I said, this little patio setting where it's just like a. Also, what's the name? Was mad dirty when he saw his son out there like grieving his dead sister in the water. He's like, "Come get this bitch."
Yeah,
get your patron.
Yeah, that's exactly. I was like, damn, bro. He did lose.
Yeah, Corliss is.
Yeah, go ahead.
I loved it. I mean, it was great. I love being in Driftmark. Driftmark is a super, super interesting and cool and historied, location in Game of Thrones. One that we didn't get to see in the OG series because, not to spoil anything, but we didn't meet any Valyrians in Game of Thrones. So it's cool because, like, even I think it was either last episode or 2 episodes ago. Yeah, 2 episodes ago, when Viserys is walking through the halls of Driftmark and sees like all the mosaic paintings of all the deeds of Corliss's family and like everything that they've done. There's just like this majesty to them. I feel like they are this show's Lannisters. They're the family. Nice. They're the most outside of the royal family. They are the family, not just because they're Valyrians, but they're the richest, most powerful. So there's just a lot of respect and awe there. So I just really enjoyed being in Driftmark a little longer. I'm glad we got to see a lot more of that because I really, really fuck with them. They're cool.
All right. Nice. And Phil, man, what'd you think of? Give us.
I mean, you and I talk about this show every week. We've talked about it for the last several weeks now, and I think the one word we both love to use is grimy. And I think that it's fucking grimy, man. Like the look that Alicent gave Rhaenyra in like when everything was all said and done after the whole, dumping the coffin into the water, Viking style, like that was beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but Alicent just kept giving Rhaenyra the fucking stink eye. I'm just like, wow. After what you pulled last week with Larys, oh my god. And then, oh my god, we're gonna get into it later. But her dad, Otto Hightower, he's the hand again. I'm just like, oh, you motherfucker, you playing the long game.
You saw how they did with the camera. It showed his face, and he was like, he did a little, just a little bit of a, here it is. I got my little hand pin. He just. And I'm surprised he didn't look at the camera and wink and shit. Like I got it back.
Like watching Damon cackle a laugh midway through the ceremony. Well, goddamn, he did something like that earlier in the season too. Like he's just the king of fucking dastardly and just I don't give a fuck. He's the I don't give a fuck prince. That's what he is. But holy shit, man! Like I'm pumped. I'm just this episode just lit a fire in my face. It was just so damn good.
Yeah, and it's they do what they do best, man. This was like, I mean, obviously some things happened that were like, oh shit, but like there were some episodes. I mean, through 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, there was always this episode they throw in there where it was just sniveling, sneaky, sly, all that kind of shit was going on. And this is another one of them. And obviously you saw after that scene or whatever,
But there are moments of sincerity sprinkled throughout the griminess too, like when
when the daughter grabs Rhaenyra's son's hand,
when Rhaenyra sends her son over to go comfort his cousins, Rhaenyra's like, your cousins just lost their mother, and her kid just kind of slapped back with like, well, yeah, we should be mourning our dad right now because he's totally fucking dead.
Yeah.
And she's like,
cooked up, yeah,
cooked up.
Fire, but yes, fire, yes, but so that scene when it was because he got there, he didn't know what to say to the two girls. He didn't know. He kind of gets there and he just kind of turns away for a second, and then she grabs his hand, which is comforting for both of them, guaranteed. And that's something you can smile at when you're watching Game of Thrones.
It's going to come into play later on in the episode too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So after that happens, obviously you see people go their separate ways. Otto goes down the steps, and Aegon is just straight
pissed drunk. He's pissed drunk.
Kicks the shit out of him, like, get in the fucking bed, bro. Get up here. He it's funny because he looks at him. He's like, "Hi." He's like, "Get."
He's like, brother, what's happening?
He's so drunk.
No,
he's like,
grandfather, get your motherfucking ass up. Let's go to bed. Yeah. So he obviously he does them, and then you see as people start to kind of separate from there. There's a conversation that I thought was really good between Otto, not Otto, but see, I'm fucked up with names. What's the name? The father and the father and the mother that just lost the daughter that just got burned up by the dragon.
Corlys and Rhaena.
Corlys, yeah, there you go. Yeah, and so they have this conversation by the fire that's dope as fuck, which you ultimately see. I mean, if you didn't already know that Corlys is all about that fucking shine. He wants that. He literally said they don't remember blood in the history. They remember names. So he doesn't care. I don't want to say he doesn't care that his daughter just is not with them anymore, but it seems as though he doesn't. And then you saw what she said back to him, which was it was a conversation, like she's literally grieving her fucking child, right?
Yeah.
And then saw what happened at the end of the episode. We'll get to that in a bit. So I don't know what's gonna happen with them in the future. It looks like there's some stuff there. But then after that, what you guys think of that? The fireplace conversation between them, like in their quarters and shit, man. And then she grabbed his, held his hand, and he was just like, they don't remember. Nobody remembers blood. They remember names. Get off me. So what you guys think about that, man? Anybody? Just go.
I mean, you feel like of all the houses and of all the marriages that have happened, there's like friction between a lot of them. If there was one that has the most friction, it's probably this one, because it seems like Corlys and Rhaena are so on opposite ends on certain topics of discussion. Like he's always reminding her, like, the throne should have been yours, and she's like, no, fuck that. That's not tradition, et cetera, et cetera. But now it's kind of like a flip of the switch kind of situation where her husband's all like, hey, history doesn't remember blood, it remembers names. And she's just like, your fucking kid just died, dude. What the fuck's wrong with you? Right? Something to that effect. And it's going to be interesting to see just what is going to happen between the two of them and how long they do stick together. If they do stick together, I don't know. Like I've done bits and pieces of like, Cliff Notes readings on certain characters. That's one relationship I have not read on in particular, but I will say that, what happens with their daughter's dragon is certainly something.
Yeah, that was we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
I think also that the fireside chat is like very reminiscent of like her warning to Corlys all those years ago when they first promised Rhaenyra to marry Laenor. She's like, she knows how this game is played, and she's like, this is a very dangerous game we're putting our children in. I mean, death and childbirth is obviously something that you could never imagine or like predict or plan for or whatever. But I feel like another part of her attitude towards him is like this resignation of like, this is going to keep happening. And like her just being like, the more you push for this, the more you go after. She said, pride, we're being punished for our pride. And the more you push for this, like the more, damages are going to come to our family. And obviously at the end of the episode, we saw what she thinks she saw is just that coming to fruition. So,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. So, Anything else, Joey? You got something on it? Or
I mean, I do, but like it would go into it would hop to the end a little bit. And I kind of
okay. We'll get there. So I saw that scene, and obviously, you got Rhaenyra walking down the whole time. Her and Damon are out there. I'm like, you sure sniveling, sneaky, walking on a cane, dude? Larys ain't fucking creeping around watching y'all, you dumbass. Like they were just wide in the wide open, bro. Like even though you didn't see anybody watching them, I was like.
That's such a good point, because like it's also to your point, it's another level of grimy. Like Damon just lost his fucking wife. He obviously did not give that much of a fuck about her. And Rhaenyra's like, yeah, she almost married my dad. Big fucking deal. I want you. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
What?
Still after all these years, but then like that. That's I was just that entire scene. That's one of those ones where you're watching it, and the whole entire time. You're kind of itching in the back of your neck, like, is somebody watching?
Mm-hmm.
I know they're gonna show Larys creeping through because it's just like it was just when they did wide shots of it, I was like, y'all are out in the open. What are you doing? This is one of the sneakiest shows out there. Yeah. Obviously, who knows? Still, I mean, they didn't show anybody watching, but that's so you have that scene with them, and then when I thought that I thought Aemon was about to catch him. I don't know why, but I was like, what is he doing out there? You know what I'm saying? He's creeping through the sand. I was like, oh shit. Then I was like, wait a minute. The dragon. So obviously we saw what happened there. He gets to the dragon, tames him, or the dragon was probably, what's the dragon's name? But it's Rhaegar, right?
Vhagar.
Okay, Vhagar. Okay, so I think Vhagar's the one that had to straight cooker, right? Okay, yes. So he's definitely in mourning, so he's just like out there just bumming on us. I'm surprised you didn't see some empty bottles of wine where he just been fucking getting fucked up and getting drinking it up and stuff. But so he gets there, tames the dragon, which he hadn't been able to do, and is able to get on the back of Vhagar and take off, and then some eggs in the house. What up?
Hey, sorry guys, my fucking internet's being so weird. I'm just on my phone, so
you're fine. You're fine.
I'm sorry.
Hey, I get to watch the last 5 minutes of the fucking episode.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah, I told you my fucking internet. It's still paused at like the last 5 minutes because my internet.
What happened the last 5 minutes?
It's okay.
We hadn't got there yet. We hadn't got there.
That's okay.
We hadn't got there. But the scene I was describing. So anyway, he obviously tames Vhagar, gets on his back. He takes him for a fucking ride until he actually learns like this is what you got to do to ride a dragon. And then well, let's stop right there for just a second. So what you guys think of that? Like her and Damon out there in the wide open, like fucking you know what I'm saying? Like, how did you do that? But they're just out there in the wide open, leading up into is it Aemon?
Aemon.
Yeah, Aemon. Okay, yeah, Aemon like taming Vhagar and then getting on there and taking off and having a flight, man. What you guys think, man? Whoever goes second.
Well, one, it looked incredible.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just like the very like it looked almost Twilight-ish. Like I know it was like at night and everything, but it was just eerie and like, but you were still able to see everything and it looked beautiful. And I think that was just like such a turning point without Aemon even realizing it in his legacy, because that is Vhagar is obviously an old dragon or an older dragon,
huge too.
So
big.
Like
the biggest, he's the biggest dragon.
Yeah, he is.
So it's like that's such a prestigious dragon, which is probably what like drove Aemon's ego up a little bit to say some of the stuff that he said a couple scenes later.
Yeah. Oh, you done? Oh,
I'm done.
Anybody else want to go ahead?
I mean,
I thought it was pretty fucking sick. I think Vhagar is like such a cool looking dragon. So anytime he shows up, it was funny. Last week when I was watching it with my boyfriend, he was like, I just need like an audio soundtrack of you just like commenting on the dragons because I was like, man, that dragon's big. He's fucking huge though. Like,
yeah, massive.
Like every time he shows up, I'm just like, holy shit. Like he's beefy, dude. And he's like really all like scarred up and fucked up.
He's been through some shit.
Cool. Yeah, he's scary.
Yeah, no, I think throughout the original Game of Thrones, 8 seasons and this, so far, you've seen plenty of shots of a person, whether it be Daenerys or whoever, standing next to a dragon. They've never looked that fucking big next to a person like that. And I mean, I got it. It's a younger kid, but like huge, man. Fucking massive, dude. Yeah. What you about to say? You about to comment on it, Phil?
Yeah, that whole exchange of like Aemon kind of getting some balls there for a minute and like going out and seeing a dragon out in the desert. And he even like as he's creeping over the desert dune, he's like, oh fuck, right? And then he goes up and he like tries to reach for the rope, and then the dragon turns around like, what the fuck are you doing? He does it like 3 times, and then he finally like quells it and calms it, and he like takes it for himself. And then like to have the gall to walk back into the castle and be like, yeah, the dragon's fucking mine. And like the daughters of Lena are just like, yo, what the fuck, dude? Like, that was my mom's dragon. I wanted it. And he's like, well, you should have claimed it. Tough shit for you.
You snooze, you lose.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. You can definitely tell he's Aegon's little brother.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, and that, that's what I'm saying. Like he just him being able to train or to tame that dragon, like kind of drove his ego up to say that, and then to call the boys bastards, pretty much just like unraveling everything that's been all the secrets within the family that's been kept. He's just like throwing it all out there. He's like, everybody knows, who cares?
Yeah. Well, I think part of on the flip side, like of his flippancy of like how not cautious he's being with all that. Rhaenyra, with Game of Thrones, like the original series, there was a few good guys, but a lot of people were moral gray or just completely fucking awful. Daemon, obviously moral gray, probably completely fucking awful, but he's so charming that it's like, yeah, I love this dude. Rhaenyra, like, I feel like her problems are she's so entitled and like really selfish. So I feel like them walking around on the beach, they're like, yeah, fuck it. If people see, like, not caring about the potential fallout if someone did see them being intimate, like they just don't care, those two characters. And I think we are conditioned as like Game of Thrones fans to be like, who's in the bushes, watching.
Very true.
But but Aemon getting Vhagar is like they were talking about later, we'll probably get to, like that's like, it's a coup because the power dynamic has shifted tremendously.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, and we've seen glimpses of the other dragons, like Aegon's dragon, Sunfire, is like a really pretty golden one, but it's not that big. Helena's is Dreamfire, not that big. And then Syraxis and Syrax, they're not very big either. They're not that old. Melee's, Rhaenys' is dragon, Melee's is pretty big, but like Vhagar, he could probably take like 3 of them at once, So it's just just a huge moment for Team Green for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because like when you think about how this whole situation was set up, it was set up all from the last episode, right? Like Alicent tells Aemon, don't worry, one day you'll have your own dragon. And then Rhaena promptly, chooses to have her dragon set herself on fire. And then you think about it, it's like, well, wait, oh, I see.
And what was Helena? What was Helena saying? Did you catch that? When she was talking to him, she's like, to get a dragon, he'll have to close one eye. She has dragon dreams.
That's right.
He actually, like, she's not like Viserys. Viserys is just cuckoo in a way. Like, his dreams are not. Helena, though, it's not gibberish. Like, listen to what she says. A lot of her will come to fruition. It just sounds like riddles, but that's one that already has.
Oh, shit. So that leads us into what Phil was just getting into. So obviously he rides the dragon, he gets off, he's feeling himself. He's like, yo, what's good? And then at the time, before he even took off, you had the daughters, the girls saw out the window that somebody had taken the dragon and flew off or whatever. They go wake up
Jace.
wake him up, and it was like, yo, somebody take the dragon. He almost like, I don't care, but what are we doing here? So anyway, they come down into this cave, right? Now this is I've seen a lot of things in my life as far as like movies and television where a scene is full. The entire scene is made up of actors who are young, right? And I've seen it be bad, and I've also seen it be good. This was good. This was absolutely incredible. And these kids, like, I'm sure we'll see a picture at some point in time where they're all like, yo, we were really friends behind the scenes, but we were talking shit because, yo, the shit that comes out of their mouths in this entire scene was dope, and it led to it. And so obviously he gets on, he comes in there like, yo, you stole our bombs, and like you said, you should have taken it first or whatever. And so like it's a thing like that. And yo, as much as like Phil was saying earlier before we went live, you might have thought he was a pussy last episode. Yeah, he was whooping their asses. The only thing that saved him was the dirt being thrown in his eyes.
Bro, he fucking grabbed that. I don't remember what kid it was. He grabbed him by the throat, and I was just like, "Jesus!"
The younger brother. Yeah.
If they had to throw dirt in his eyes, he would have fucked all of them up easily. And I'm like, yo, he's really like, as much as you might think he wasn't, just because of the way they portrayed him. He's been paying attention to that damn training they've been giving him, like training and shit, because he worked him as much as you could show with like, kid actors in a certain scene.
Like you can see the training from Sir Kirsten Cole. You can see it from the way he just handled himself with all of them. But at the same time, he shouldn't have walked in talking shit, because the two girls just lost their mother, the two boys just lost their dad. This fool just got a dragon. And he's like, yo, fuck y'all. I got a dragon, eat my ass. And then they straight up just like bum rush him. But at the same time, it's like they're kind of justified because he's sitting there just running his mouth. And when he puts hands on the girls, that's when both boys are just like, oh no, fuck this. This is not how this is going to go down. And like, once that happened and once the dirt got thrown in his face, I was like, oh, is he going to lose an eye? Sure enough, he gets fucking cut in the eye. That shit was just like,
which there's a pic that was out there earlier this week, and I was like, he's going to be out there. Go ahead.
But also to your point of just like it being well acted, like, with child actors, it's a very, you have to toe that line. And like with the dialogue, like it didn't feel like they were just reading or memorizing off a script. It felt like it was very a genuine conversation / like argument that was going on. And then they started beating. They started beating his ass.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm sure we'll see there'll be a set pick soon where they're all just fucking like, hey, we're cool, we're cool, calm down. Because like I was like, oh my goodness, like the way they were talking shit to each other, man. And how it ends, obviously, I think once again, the writing in this, having that right there. That entire scene was there, and then it lead to the next scene, which this is like is it in Corliss's throne room? Is that where it takes place when they after the fact, after the eye cutting and all of that shit? Is that where that's at? Or
I'm pretty sure. Is that right, Brian?
It looks like it looks like it.
Okay, and Brian, what'd you think about that the cave scene where like the kids were just going at each other's throats and shit, man? Is that?
Yeah, it's honestly, I mean, I knew it was coming. I'd read Fire and Blood, so like I know like all the like pinpoints of like big moments, but like how we get there is how we get there. I don't know about that. It was kind of tough to watch though, because like a couple episodes or last episode, you could tell like outside of Aemon, there's a lot of camaraderie there. Like I feel like Aegon liked Jacaerys and Lucerys better than he liked his own brother. And what Game of Thrones is it's generational war, and these kids are inheriting violence from their parents. They don't really have a choice, and we see that boil over where like, this conflict is like way bigger than just them stealing the dragon. Like the kids sense it, I think, in their parents. That's why like, when the beginning with like the funeral or the like kind of receiving of friends, nobody was consoling each other out of the family. Like Rhaenyra had to force her son to go over there. So it's like the kids all feel the tension from their parents, and like, and now we've seen them kind of like, you know, take on the roles of their parents. They're like, okay, yeah, we're enemies now. Like, and they went to blows. They would have killed each other. I mean, somebody would have at some point. Probably would have crushed one of their skulls in at some point.
I mean, Aemon grabbed the rock like he was ready to just.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna. I was like, it's going down.
Put a dent in the kid's head. Yeah.
That's what I was going to. Meg, what'd you think about it, Meg?
Pretty fucking insane. I mean, that whole like little fight with those kids, like, it's always so like jarring to see kids like fight like that, you know, because like you want to think of kids as just like innocent and, you know, void of any type of rage like that. So when you see it, it's just like it's like pure evil when a kid fights like that, you know. Like he was like, you know, props to him, he's got fucking balls for getting that dragon or whatever, but like it instantly just went to his head and he was like, no one could fucking question me. And it was dope to see them all gang up on him, you know. And then, but it was insane though when he like grabbed that one kid by his throat, and I was like, oh yeah, those kids are totally gonna die. Like he's gonna kill one of these other kids. And like but yeah, it was dope. Those two brothers, what's it, Jacaerys and Lucerys?
Jason Luke are like they're Lucerys and Jacaerys.
Yeah.
But like, Jason Luke.
I love how they I mean, they're so close, and you can see like they fight even so well together because like they always have to like fight for their name and shit. Like everyone's calling them bastards, dude.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see them, you know, team up and take down that kid because that kid's such a dick. And it was funny because my sister's read the books and stuff, and she was telling me how like shitty Aemond is. Because like I showed her a picture of him from like a new episode, and I was like, "Oh, he's kind of hot, huh?" And she's like, "No, he's a piece of shit." I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'll remember that, I guess. Yeah, no, it's pretty nuts.
Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian, you read Fire and Ice, right? You mentioned that you read Fire and Ice.
Yeah.
I read the original Game of Thrones books. Yeah.
Okay, so if that is the case, who do you think the bigger piece of shit is, Daemon Targaryen or Aemond Targaryen?
Definitely Aemon, 100%. Daemon is a very moral, great character. Honestly, last episode, we got robbed by the showrunners and editors. We did not get to see loving dad Daemon, and
you
know, I think they know he's winning everybody over, and they want to keep people, you know, like summon green, summon black. You know, but you know, he's too powerful, right? So like they didn't need everybody on Team Black because Daemon is just, you know, the man. But Daemon's a dick. He killed his wife essentially. So like the first one, but Aemon is worse. I mean, there's some stuff coming up. I mean, he's gonna be the number one enemy villain for sure.
Wow. All right.
So maybe what I was telling you guys, I think it was after like the third episode or something where I had seen the clip from the original Game of Thrones where Stannis was like with his daughter, and he comes in there, he says, "What are you reading?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm reading all about how you know, Rhaenyra against her brother." Maybe she said Aemon. Did she, Brian, you remember that? It's in the original game. Did she say Aegon or Aemon?
She says Aegon.
Oh, okay. So
I've been seeing those clips. There's like 2 clips from Game of Thrones that are like pretty spoilery for Dance of Dragons that are out there. I don't know if you guys have seen those clips or remember it. So. I mean, like I won't say anything, but like Joffrey pretty much tells most of the ending to the dance to Marjorie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Luckily, a lot of people don't remember that. You know, Game of Thrones is so big. Like,
yeah. So, obviously, like you guys have been saying, that scene was insane. So it leads us to, you know, we'll try to fast track a bit. It leads us into this, I think it's Corliss's little throne room there, where the conversation is had between him and his wife about, you know, what they earlier in the episode. So you know this shit was going to come to a head. Obviously, you know, Viserys is kind of like, you know, Rhaenyra's my daughter. You know, no matter what my kids say or my wife, I don't give a fuck. That's my girl. That's whose side I'm ultimately probably going to take through any type of situation. So they come in there, and obviously, you know, it's like, who did this? My kid's eye is gone, and all of this shit. And the kids, obviously, it's kids. It's like, I was like, when he's like, tell me what happened. I was like, oh shit, this is. Trust me, I've walked into a room and had a broken something and have 6 kids in there and have to ask what happened and hear everyone try to explain who broke that shit. So like, yes. So like, that's what I was expecting. And it was kind of like that to a certain extent before he was kind of like, yo, y'all shut up, man. We got to get to the bottom of this or whatever. And it's fucked up because Rhaenyra's kids are telling the truth. They were literally being honest about it. The girls were being honest, and obviously he didn't want to say because his mom's is the one that put that news in his head. No matter what the Aegon was fired with it. His brother threw him off under the bus, but they wasn't gonna throw his mom. But he was just like, well, everybody knows shit. Everybody calls them bastards, not just us. And then Viserys couldn't say, what is he going to say to that? Because he knows he's heard that shit through his ears. So like, it's a situation where like, you're like, Viserys is like, he probably wanted to laugh and be like, God damn, man, I just want to blame somebody so I can go to bed. I'm old as fuck. I'm about to die.
I'm dying.
Yeah, I'm dying. but yeah, that entire situation, it was just like when he looked at his mom, and Viserys looked back at her like, I knew it was you, you son of a. And then he's like, he named his brother, and then he's like, me. He's like,
me?
Me? He's like, well, everybody knows. Everybody calls them bastards. You ain't know? I was like, damn. This isn't getting cleared up tonight. I was like, Viserys, go to bed. Take you some milk of the poppy and just go to sleep, homie.
The even more fucked up part about that was like he's asking Aemon to tell him the truth, and Alicent's like trying to tell him like, and he just continues to fucking ignore her and wants the answer out of Aemon. He could give a shit what Alicent has to say in this moment in time because he already knows exactly how she feels about the situation. Yeah. He could give 2 fucks. He wants to hear what Aemon has to say about this situation. And even after the fact, you know, he takes Rhaenyra's side and he's basically like, my kid fucked up. He shouldn't have went after him. He lost an eye. It is what it is. And then Alicent at that point just fucking snaps. That was her snap moment. She was like, oh, fuck no. Oh, fuck no. You did not just, ooh, yep. Go ahead.
Also, she was like, turned so Kristen to do something. And he was like, and the king was like, nah, bro. And then she was like, but you belong to me. I was like, whoa, now that's out in the open. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's basically turned Kristen. I told you to do that. It doesn't matter if the king said no, you belong to me. I was like, damn, man, it's a little heat. I would have bounced probably if I was in that entire thing. What'd you think about that, Brian? That entire, just that, go ahead.
Yeah. So in the book, Rhaenys, because you know she's half Arryn, like from the Vale, like the Arryns of the Vale. She's got dark hair. She's got black hair in the books. She doesn't have the Valyrian silver hair. So Jacaerys and Viserys in the books, it's a little bit more ambiguous, even with their black hair, you know, whether or not they are bastards, because that is in their blood to, you know, have. And also the Valyrians in the books look just like the Targaryens. They're like really pale and have silver eyes. So in the show, so in the books, all of that makes it very ambiguous. But in the show, obviously we have darker skinned Valyrians, and Rhaenys is got the silver hair. So like it's super evident. You know, when he says like everyone knows, it's because like, yeah, it's fucking obvious. Look at the girl. The girl don't look like you. Like, I mean, one of the kids, actually, someone brought this up on Twitter, and it's really interesting. When they do the next episode and they age up, the oldest Jacaerys looks just like Kristen Cole. So I think they're trying to hint that Kristen Cole might be the daddy of that one. And the time, it honestly times out like decently. because if they consummate, like depending on when they said Jacaerys was born, like if they consummated on their wedding night, that was 10 years later. He looks to be 10. Kristen Cole probably hooked up with Rhaenyra a month before that, 2 months before that. I mean, so I don't know. It's very interesting though.
You want to know what's funny is I was thinking that what if Rhaenyra has a kid now that's like 9 months after this funeral, and it's their one kid that looks like fucking like Targaryen. It's like, I wonder what happened.
You might be right, Meg. I don't know.
You might be I know that the scene, and this is a little bit later, but when she was sitting there with her husband, and they had this conversation, and he was just like, I hadn't been there for you, but now I just want to. I thought that she was going to try to convince him to clap because what she just did with Daemon, so that if she did have another kid, that it would be, you know what I'm saying? She could say that, this, and so that's what I thought. But obviously, we saw stuff, But I think throughout this series of there's been a lot of scenes that have been absolutely incredible. I think the Red Wedding was done fucking dope, man. Battle of the Bastards, obviously, you have certain things that just were just good. I think the scene inside of just right after the fight between the kids.
Oh yeah, dude.
That entire scene in that room, leading up to the point, obviously, where she cuts Rhaenyra and you see the blood, dripping or whatever, and then that shit is one of the best Game of Thrones scenes I've ever seen in my entire life. Watching this show, it was so well put together. The acting was absolutely fire, and I think like the tension in that room was just like, you know what I'm saying? It's you're not sitting back watching that shit like this. No. You're fucking. You know what I mean? Like what and so that was so it's probably for me anyway. I know there's been a lot of fire scenes so far this season of House of the Dragon. That's probably one of the best ones. Just because we knew the stakes that were there and what led up to this, and it just happened to in this small circle was probably 20 or 30 people or maybe 40 just happen and just be like, let's just move. How do you move on after something like that has happened?
That's exactly it. Is that like, especially in this day and age, where there's so many action-packed scenes on. What up, Droga? There's so many action-packed scenes just in movies and TV in general. To like, I was fully focused on that scene. To have my attention with just people talking. It's like that is such a feat that not a lot of shows can do.
Not today. No, you're right.
No.
And yeah, it was part of me felt like I was like, am I like kind of rusty like as a Game of Thrones fan, because I felt like they didn't let you breathe from the moment Aemond like tames Vhagar to pretty much the end credits. You're just like, oh shit! All right.
Even like at the beginning with the funeral, it's like everyone is just looking at each other, and it's like there's such a tension that creates. Like they all like can't stand each other, but they have to make appearances, and like as soon as Rhaenyra enters the room, Alicent is already just fucking scowling at her. And it's like there's just so much hatred that like all of these people have for each other, and it just comes to a fucking boiling point through their kids. And it's like it reminded me of that scene in the original Game of Thrones where where like Joffrey gets his fucking ass kicked by Arya, and it reminds me of that scene just like times 100. Like
I do remember
where the kids are just the kids are like yelling at each other, and like Cersei wants justice for what happened to Joffrey because he's going to be scarred for life, and she's like basically an eye for an eye type thing, and well you have to kill you have to kill the direwolf in place of justice. And it's like this scene really didn't have any justice. Like it's still going unanswered and unpunished. So it's so interesting. It's cool to like compare it, but I really think House of the Dragon is just like taking what Game of Thrones did and just upped it.
Yeah.
Like it was like you were holding your breath in certain moments, like especially you know, when she has the knife to her and like they both just say how they really feel about each other.
Now, now everyone sees you for who you are. That's I was waiting for that because they dumbasses showed me that like right after the first episode. And I was like, damn, dude.
Well, like this episode had a lot of lines from like the trailers too.
Yeah.
I was noticing that.
And look, man, Patty. Yo, I don't know when he's not going to be on the show anymore. Fucking killed that entire scene. Without him, without Viserys, that scene does not even work. He fucking caned over to everybody that was just like, when that dude better have some type of nomination. I don't give a fuck. Like, let me see some love for him from this series because he went from being a young man all the way to how he looks now, and he killed that scene, bro.
Well, and even on top of that, it's like he, this was probably on purpose, but he looked and felt more alive than he did the last like 4 episodes.
Yeah, he looked
because he was driven by that anger, and just like that frustration of just like everybody needs to shut the fuck up. You're killing me here, literally, like I'm dying.
Yeah, and also you could tell from the conversation he has with Daemon, or he tries to have with him earlier in the episode, because look, Viserys knows the end is near, so I think now he wants love. He wants his family to love each other, so that when he dies, he doesn't have to be like, damn it, is it gonna be? You know what I'm saying? He wants to be at peace whenever he goes, and so that. Because remember, Daemon just walked off from. I was like, damn, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, man? It's fun. Because he banished you from out of here. You show back up at this wedding announcement where Rhaenyra was she's still young. He didn't clap on you at all. He let you take your seat. You know what I'm saying? He showed you brotherly love. He said, you know what? Even though you pissed me off, you're still my brother. Take a seat, man. I'm not even going to start those shit. Whatever the fact is. And then for him to step up to him, and I got it. Damon's probably still got some stuff, but he's just like walked off from him. I was like, damn, man. And obviously,
there's always just like a wholesomeness to Viserys. I feel like he just wants like a happy family that just fucking shuts up and just does the family thing, and doesn't want the rumors, and he just wants to live his life with his family, and rule the Targaryen dynasty how he wants it. And it's just like everyone keeps fucking it up for him.
And like. Even at the funeral, he even confronts Daemon. He's like, it's a shame that your daughters look so much like your former wife. That's a blessing and a curse, essentially. He says like the gods can be cruel, and Daemon just claps him back with, it looks like they've been a lot crueler to you.
Yeah,
I was like, damn, bro. Oh, it was a fucking meme where the dudes are jumping.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I was like, damn, bro. That was hard. That was pretty hardcore what he said to him right there.
But he had another zinger too to Otto. What do you say? Even when the leech grows fat, he's still looking for its next meal.
Yeah.
We had him ready for everything.
Yeah.
There seems to be that one guy in the background. Zing.
Yeah.
The one gripe I do have about the show is that like they didn't really. Like, obviously, there's people that get aged up, but then I feel like there's certain people that just don't change in age at all. Like, Corlys looks exactly the same from the first episode. Yeah, Kristen Cole looks the same.
Otto Hightower.
Yeah, Otto looks the same. Daemon looks the same. It's like all the characters that were already, like, matured haven't aged really at all.
Right, and the only one they really make an effort to change is King Viserys.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, they'd be like, yo.
So that is my one gripe with the show, because it's like, okay, now it's almost been like 20. It's gonna be like 20 years in like the next episode or whatever, and or it's already 20 years. Yeah,
it's just 6
like
more.
Everyone,
done.
6 more. I figured as much.
Yeah, 6 more years for the next one. No more John. But I actually kind of agree with that. But like, sorry, go ahead.
Go.
You good?
Oh yeah. Well, I was, I'm agreeing with you. Corliss, I think, because he's got the salt and pepper, like he always had the salt and pepper, like it's a little easier for him, and also like he's got a lot more melanin, so he's not going to crack. Damon, when it starts, like I guess we're assuming, I don't remember in the book what he is. We're assuming he's like 20, early 20s, and then like short-haired Damon is like 32. I think he's like in his 40s now. And then Kristen,
exactly the same.
Yeah.
Well, Matt Smith is a vampire. He doesn't age.
That's true.
With
yeah, it's so weird how they do it, but whatever.
They should put some pepper in Kristen Cole's like beard or hair or something. Damon, I feel like it doesn't matter. Dude doesn't even have eyebrows, so like he's not gonna look like he ages.
He does have eyebrows. They're just like so white. It's so
they're so white.
Yeah. But it's so damn, where were we at in the episode? So you have the damn, where were we at in the episode? We just
I think we were like at the throne room, like
right after the.
Oh yeah. The I was saying that scene is absolutely incredible. Oh yeah, Patty, if you're watching, Patty, the Emmy nominations. Let me get those quickly, swiftly before next season. If he doesn't, I'm gonna be fucking pissed because that dude. As much as you could. There's so many memes and shit making fun of him because he continues to be there, even though he looks like the Crypt Kicker. But I think he deserves all the love because he made that scene. And then after that, obviously, you get this. I thought he's gonna. No, there's so many times that Viserys almost died. Like when they're on the ship and they're about to sail from there or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And she has to put blankets on. Like, is he gonna make this trip? Like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, she puts some blankets on him or whatever. And then obviously Laird's grimy ass kind of hints to like, you want me to go ahead and kick him out? Want me to take him out for you?
Jesus,
like, damn, bro. Relax, homie. After she already done, she's that dude and LeBron. I know you've read the stuff. I don't know that dude. He's keeping that in his back pocket. You know what I'm saying? That what he did for her, burning up the dudes last episode. So I don't know when he's gonna pull that trump card out, but he's just like, yeah, I'm sitting there because that conversation he had with her on the boat, I was just like, that's. I'd probably tell everybody keep that dude away from me because that motherfucker is just. You see how he came up? He just said some shit, and I was like, oh, that's grimy. And then obviously you saw so the when dude shows up in her quarters when she's getting her shit stitched and bandaged up, right? The kids are there, whatever. He shows up. He's like, I wish I had been there. The first thing I was like, this motherfucker never around for nothing. He showed back up in there. He's just like, everything all right? Cool. No, it's not. Sit the fuck down. So anyway, they have this conversation where he says he hasn't been there for her and things of that nature, and like he's kind of changing his tune to where like he wants to. That's where I was thinking. Like, Damon just clapped. She's gonna let him, and then the kid will be blonde haired. Problem solved. We got to do fucking. What y'all think about like just particularly that conversation that they had? Like once she ran the maester out of there for stitching her up and the kids, and that's just had this conversation where. Go ahead.
What?
You're echoing.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Anthony thought he was being interrupted, but it was his own.
Oh, was it? So anybody, what do you think about that conversation between them, which kind of leads us to what happens at the end?
I mean, it was bound to happen sooner or later, right? Like the tension swelling from everything going on within the family, and then of course Laenor just not being present at all. That was kind of a reoccurring theme, not only throughout the series thus far, but this episode in particular. Like he lost his sister, he was barely even present after the fact they dropped her coffin in the water, and then now during this big blow up between both sides of the Targaryen house respectively, and now he's just like, yo, you got slashed in the fucking arm by the queen. Like I should have been there. I totally should have fucking been there. That was really fucked up. Not knowing that his wife just totally had sex with her uncle, which was also hilarious. But like, only to what happens at the end of this episode, kind of how you'd have to wonder, like, was this a plan that they both okayed? You know what I mean? Like, I'm wondering if that is going to come up somewhere in the future of how basically how this episode, the end of the episode, transcribes. But you know, their whole conversation was like, you know, it really was just it. It was bound to happen. I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. I don't know. I'm rambling. Someone take over.
Yeah. Are we steering away from? We're just not going to say anything because Meg hadn't seen it, or what?
Oh yeah,
I can dip real quick. It's fine. Do you guys want to talk about the ending?
I think we're getting to that point.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
I think she's gonna dip for like just a couple minutes and she'll come back.
Okay, so I'll just say it quick. In the book, it happens very kind of similarly, but it's a lover's quarrel. Like that guy does kill him in the books, kills Laenor over because Laenor's like getting with another dude. In the show, though, Laenor survives. He's dead. He gets killed in the book, straight up. So that was that shocked me. I was like, whoa, like, they're having him survive. I don't know to what ends. Is he going to come back? I don't know, but like he's dead in the books.
Wow.
Okay. So yeah. So you're okay. So let's just go ahead. What do you guys think about just from that conversation between the two of them to the conversation, you know, as the ship leaves and you see it's just sort of this parallel thing which they've done really well in this show, which is absolutely fire. What's it when they have like two characters have a conversation and then two other characters and it kind of bounces back and forth between them. They did it again this one with when you know you have Alicent is on the ship with damn it, I lost his name. Laris, yes. And then but then at the same time, there's a conversation between Rhaenyra and Daemon as far as when she's telling him we should get married and all of this, she said, well, in order to get married, your husband has to die, basically. And so, like, you know, we saw what happens after that, right? And I will tell you this, it got me. But let me get you guys' thoughts on like pretty much like I would say that's probably like the final 10 minutes of the episode. You think?
Yeah.
What'd you guys think, Joey? What you think about it, man? The final 10 minutes and like what we going forward, like this shit is insane.
I really thought it was a good like it showed a lot of the both sides of like what is everybody's motives. You know, because Daemon and Rhaenyra, you know, they're doing this to be together, but is it for love or is it for power? You know, like is it because they want to be together, or do they see like themselves on the throne, whatever, in the future? And then we see how what's the mom's name? Corliss's wife?
Rhaenys.
Oh,
sorry, I don't know why I always say Rhaena. It's Rhaenys.
But so we're seeing, you know, we're seeing her reacting to what she thinks is her son's body, like charred remains. And then Corlys is standing up, like, you know, furious, and it's the same thing. Is like she's obviously outcrying for love, he's outcrying for power because the last of his, you know, lineage is pretty much gone, except for, I know, like you know, the two sons, just the two like younger girls too. But it's still just like, you know, what is everybody's like, what is everybody passionate about? Like, is it human connection, or is it just that material throne is at their end game? You know what I mean? So it was a really interesting like approach, and the fact that they, you know, went to that like means such as that of just like, all right, we killed this guy, you're gonna throw him in and make it look like he's another dude, like we're gonna pay you, it's gonna be great. I also thought I thought Daemon was about to kiss that guy in the cave when he approached him. I was like, whoa, you got a little close. All right.
Me too, because I thought at first that I thought what Rhaenyra had planned was not what actually. I thought that she like did old dude dirty, her husband dirty.
Yeah.
And was, you know what I'm saying, at first.
Yeah.
And so when that exchange happened, I was like, maybe he might show him like, I like to clap cheeks too. Maybe you'll do something. You know what I'm saying? Something along those lines of, I'm into dudes too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, like this is how, just to convince him to do something for him. So I do. And also what you're saying, like where everybody shits a lot. Obviously, I could see Rhaenyra wants this. Does Daemon want the same thing? Or is he in this so he can get this? Yep. You know what I'm saying? So it's such a thing. So the fact that 3 episodes left, and I'm like, oh shit. Phil, what'd you think, man? What'd you think about that last 10 minutes of the episode, man?
Well, first of all, to get back to what I mentioned earlier in our review, Otto Hightower, you slimy son of a bitch. Oh. That fool is playing the long game. Yeah. And what he told Alicent, she was fully expecting him to come in and just like give her shit.
Clap on her for that shit, yeah.
Right. And he's just like, proud of you.
Yeah. I've been waiting to see that side of you for yeah.
And it's just like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
You really want that?
Oh no, he says I was beginning to think that side of you didn't exist or some shit like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, oh, what?
But to kind of forward it to the end of the episode, right? Like it was just such a clutch your pearl type of moments, because like you see Laenor and the patron, I don't recall Sir Coral, I believe the gentleman's name was, they fight right there in the hall, right? And then you're led to believe that Laenor's dead, and you see Rhaenys just like, my children, and she even like throws Corlys away, like, get the fuck away from me,
because he doesn't care. He just gets
right.
He's like, the closest thing I had to the Iron Throne is now dead. God damn it! That's the way Corlys was looking at it the whole time.
Right.
Go ahead.
And like, at that point, you're just like, wow, Rhaenyra just really fucking doesn't care, right? But then you see the end of the episode, and you're like, oh,
shaved it off. So Brian, man, give us your insight, dude. What'd you think about the last 10 minutes, man? That shit was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. Honestly, until Phil brought that up, I still to this point am kind of leaning towards Rhaenyra and Daemon did not plan for Laenor to survive that.
That's what my initial thought was, that he didn't want to kill us. They got him to try to kill Laenor, but then he was like, that's my lover. I will not do such a thing.
Yeah, let's do this. I think Carl ended up like telling Laenor, and they've shifted the paradigm, and they're like, well, how do we use this to our advantage? Because Daemon said, just make it quick. If they were killing a random dude to throw in the fire, Daemon doesn't give a fuck. Like, he didn't care. So like, to me, that said, we need you to kill Laenor, and I think they flipped the script on it. Like, I do think Rhaenyra and Daemon, maybe I like Phil's version take on it better, because I want Daemon and Rhaenyra. Those are the people I'm rooting for in the show. So I hope maybe it comes later on, like that they know and they reveal that. Hopefully.
I think what is it? I don't know what they call that show that comes on right after it. Not the thing that we're going to watch here in a second, but just
just like the
behind the scenes thing.
Yeah.
I think it leans. What the dudes were saying leans more towards Phil. Like what Phil was saying was that they planned the entire, whatever the thing to get it going. But that's what had me fooled, because I was like, Rhaenyra, you grimy son of a bitch. Like, I thought she literally was like, yo, we'll kill him, and then but then he shows up, he shaved the hair off, and it's crazy, because Daemon tells him, yo, there's a land out there where it doesn't matter what your name is. All that matters is how much gold you got. And I was like, damn, bro, what are you talking about? So and then obviously, you start thinking of different places from the original Game of Thrones that, like, what was the bank? What was the place with the bank? The
Bravos.
Do what now?
Bravos.
Yeah. Bravos. Bravos. Yeah. Bravos. Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, man, that's go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, now that he's out there, there's a lot of implications, and later on, if they do another season of this, but they jump around, there's another thing called the Blackfyre Rebellion in Targaryen history that's really cool. But that shows a lot of Targaryens going into exile as well. So the idea that there are Targaryens out in the world outside of Jon and Dany in GOT, we actually, in the books, there's a theory that I forget his name. His name's like Harry something. but he's the leader of the Golden Company that Cersei brings over in season 8. In the books, he claims that he's a Targaryen heir, that he descended from Targaryen like bastards that got exiled, and that's not like implausible. And now that Laenor's out there, like who knows? I mean, there could be Targaryens all over the world.
Wow.
That is fucking insane, man. So yeah, that's look,
You want me to tell Meg she should come back?
Oh yeah. Well, hold up. I was gonna play the tease for next week.
Okay.
That's pretty. That's the Game of Thrones discussion. We'll talk about some Rings of Power here in a second. Look, this show is absolutely incredible. It's not often that back in the day, I used to see a few shows that did this, but this show, like literally every week, the ratings grow. I don't know how that's possible because they were fire from the get-go, from the first episode of House of the Dragon, high ratings for HBO and HBO Max and shit like that. So every episode it grows by like 5% too. I was like, yo, this is insane. It just shows that like I said, the show knows how to do grimy, man, and people love to watch grimy shit. They just like they like the intrigue of just watching something that you're like, oh, that dirty bitch. People love it. People just love that kind of shit. And like I said, man, when I was on my it was my third deployment, and somebody was like, yo, you need to watch Game of Thrones. I was like, nah, man, I want to watch that shit. It's like, nah, watch it, man, watch it. And I was like, all right, I took a look at it, and it was 2 seasons in at the time, and I fell in love with it. And to this day, I'll go to battle for that. All right, anyway, so I'm about to pull this up. We're gonna take a look at Ooh, the music just hit real quick before I even. All right, all right, so here we go, guys. Here is the teaser for episode 8 of the first season of House of the Dragon. Let me bring us down here. There we go. All right, let's go. Can y'all hear that?
Yes, sir.
I speak with the king's voice on this and all other matters.
Tomorrow, the High Towers land their first blow.
Those vipers rule in my father's name.
To King's Landing, then. The sea snake has taken a grave wound in battle in Stepstones.
Who will take the driftwood throne? The crown cannot stand strong if the House of the Dragon remains divided.
This is a matter of blood, not ambition.
This is a trap.
Nephews? The threat of war looms.
And there you have it. Hold on. I'm gonna see if it was this shot of the there we go. So there you have look at him, man. The house, the green. Look at him. Yo, hold up. So that's Aemon. Aemon. Yep. So this is he ended up being shorter.
I don't think that's Aegon. I think there's a third brother.
Oh, okay.
That's Aegon. That's Aegon.
It's Aegon. Oh,
that is Aegon.
So no wonder he looks like that.
3. Helena, Aegon, and Aemon.
Yeah. So yeah. No wonder he looks like that. His brother outgrew him. He's like, damn it, bro. I can't get it. Yo, is that Kristen Cole back there? Look at him, looking like a
damn.
Well, Bill, to answer your question, there is one more, but he's very little. His name's Darren. He's like a baby at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I did like this shot from this little tease when it shows. I mean, look, Allison's looking like, what the fuck? And obviously, you see the greens, you see Otto right there looking, give me that pen, Otto. And he's looking like all confidence gained back. He can give 2 shits about his eye being gone. He looks like he's ready to go. There was another shot I wanted to do. Let's see. Who's this on here? Oh, that's Allison. To King's Landing. Yo, I remember me and my wife was watching the episode tonight, and as soon as everything calmed down, right before Allison cut Rhaenyra's arm, I was like, yo, they need to go back to Dragonstone right now. Get the hell out of there. It was so tense in that little room. I was like, get out of there right now. up with Corliss, bro?
He did.
Who would take the Driftwood throne? So I don't spoil it. Brian, don't tell us because I'm sure you probably know. I saw that and I was like, excuse me, okay. So obviously, obviously he's not there anymore. I don't want to know how he goes because if it's graphic, I want to see it. I want to see something, fucking gnarly on the damn the show and shit. So yeah. That's our discussion for House of the Dragon, man. Episode 7. All right, we got 3 episodes left in the first season. I shall bring this down and bring up something else. So, real quick, man, we're going to talk about the Rings of Power. Now, I am not caught up on the show. I did not get to see the last episode. Joey is though, and you're caught up too, right, Brian?
Yeah.
On the Rings. Hey, so would you? Don't worry about spoiling for me. I'll put spoilers at the bottom. I'll probably watch that shit tomorrow as soon as I get off work or whatever. But so what'd you guys think, man? Because up until obviously it's the Rings of Power is a slow burn. Yeah. There was a couple of episodes I know when she finally convinced what's her name? Damn it, I can't never remember the names. But I'm bad. She played Amanda Waller,
the Queen Regent.
Yes. Well, she convinced her to go to Middle Earth to fight or whatever. Like that shit was hype at the end. I did like how crunk that shit got at the end. And last episode was pretty good too. But like I said, I'm not caught up. So what did you guys think of the latest episode that came out? And your thoughts on what they might have going forward, man. And like I said, don't worry about spoiling anything for me.
Yeah.
Same.
I'm not going to worry about spoiling anything, but I'll just do like light spoilers because it is almost to a point where I want you to experience it and not know exactly what the outcome of certain things are. But Brian and I actually met up yesterday, and he was saying it has been a slow season, but this last episode really kind of was a bit of a payoff. Yeah. When you look at how that slow burn has finally got to that. That pillar of wood, things just blew up. There were a couple battles and I'm not really sure if it has a name, but who's the main elf or the elf warrior? What's his name?
Arondir.
So he pretty much leads this attack against the orcs on this.
On the tower, the where the tower is.
Yeah, well, but so the orcs are attacking this village, and then he comes back with a couple of the mom of Theo and yeah, and so they have a really cool fight. There's all the village. It's kind of it's a bit of Seven Samurai where it's he's got these people in the village to fight for themselves as a instead of him just doing the entire battle on his own for them. So that was really cool. And there was there's a standoff afterwards. It's all for the Brian, you know how I am with this series. I don't know names. I don't. It's all, but it's what's his name who was Benjen in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, okay.
So he's after that. He's after that sword. Or from Sauron, and so it's pretty again, it's Lord of the Rings. There's a lot to get into, but just to sum it up, this is just a pay. I feel if you're on the fence about this show, this episode would really push you over one way or another of just okay, I want to stick with it,
Okay.
That's just me.
Nice. All right, Brian, what you think?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. If I was a casual viewer, Lord of the Rings for me I work in film and TV now. I live in LA. Lord of the Rings special features of Fellowship of the Ring when I was 7 years old, literally got me into what I do.
Got to it. Yeah. That's cool. That's cool as shit.
Lord of the Rings is everything to me. So obviously I'm very invested in it. But if I was a casual viewer, I would have stopped watching this show at 3 or 4. To be honest, there are things about the first 5 episodes where I thought certain aspects were phenomenal, whether it was the visuals or the music or the design. yeah, just random stuff. But then there was a lot of stuff that just wasn't working for me. And I don't really mind some of the reworking they've done with the story. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but they didn't actually buy the rights to the Silmarillion or Children of Hurin, any kind of Second Age stuff. They bought the rights to the appendices of the Return of the King. So they can't even like develop a lot of stuff. They're actually handicapped quite a bit by that. Like they got fleeced. But anyways, this episode though, I feel like there was a scene. I don't know if you're caught up far enough. You guys are, but when Galadriel's training the Númenórean soldiers, I thought that fight was kind of cringy. So I was like worried about the action. But to Joey's point, the fighting in this episode was sick. All the action pieces were like all the choreography.
Okay.
He was on some Legolas shit, shit we saw on like the OG. It was fire.
I did see. I just saw where somebody was like, I guess people were complaining about Galadriel's stuff in this episode, which I didn't see it, but they were like, "But you forgot about this." And, there's always that shot of Legolas where he catches the horse and he flips around the horse and lands on his back, and it's. I thought that when I saw that shit years ago, I said that was dope. That was so fire. Obviously, it kind of doesn't hold up to because it just looks weird or whatever. But yeah, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I mean, what you said, it is funny because the physics just don't work on that. But hey, he's a fucking elf, bro. He walks on top of the snow, like he's just that guy.
Yeah.
Also, like with the elves, it's a little weird. Like Galadriel at this point is thousands of years old. She's been married to Celeborn. She doesn't obviously have a husband in the show yet, but I don't know if you guys remember in the movies. He's there for a little bit, but you see her husband. At this point in the story of Lord of the Rings, she's been married to Celeborn for like 1,000 years. But anyways, he's gone. Got this weird romance with Halbrand going on, who I think is probably Sauron.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if we were supposed to know who he is.
Yeah, well, I'll get into that why I think he is. But with Galadriel, what's kind of pissed me off a little bit about her character is like she's portrayed pretty naive and petulant, kind of like teenagery. Which just kind of gets on my nerves because, like, she's thousands of years older than everybody around her, and everyone around her is comporting themselves with a lot more gravity than her. Like, she's just seems so tempestuous. Like, like one moment she's pissed off, she like about to kill Elendil, and then all of a sudden she's like giggling her ass off riding horses with him on the beach. I'm like, you're all over the place. Like she's being played as like a 20-year-old, and when in fact like she's thousands of years old. Well, in this episode, she like finally takes, the reins, so to say, and like charges in.
Okay, so when we see her, the last time I saw her was at the end of last episode when she steps up on that boat before they all leave.
Yeah,
she's looking like I'm commanding some shit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. She's coming into her own for sure. It's just strange. I don't know. Phil, how far are you? Have you not even started?
I haven't seen the 6th episode. I still need to watch it.
Okay.
I've seen a couple things on my timeline though, so
I got you. What are your thoughts on the first 5?
Like I tell these guys all the time, and like I've made it pretty clear on other shows. I'm not as well versed in the Lord of the Rings lore as I'd like to be or could be. I saw the movies as a kid, and like they really didn't do much for me, and I should probably revisit them now with a more concrete critical eye as an adult. But as far as this show is concerned, I appreciate the production value of it. I really don't have much of a problem, if any problems at all, with any of the actors or actresses. I don't have that kind of attachment that a lot of other hardcore Lord of the Rings fans do in regards to how these characters are portrayed. Our friend Ryan makes the joke all the time that the kid playing Elrond isn't Elrond because he's just not Hugo Weaving. That shit doesn't really bother me. Yeah, that kind of shit.
That doesn't bother me at all.
It doesn't bug me in the slightest. I thought Númenor looked pretty fucking cool as far as production value went. I really liked Númenor. Arondir is probably my favorite character thus far. I really like what's going on with him and what he's done thus far. The whole battle with the tower thing has basically been spoiled on my timeline, so I know that's happening. I've seen screenshots of it. I'm looking forward to it. But stuff like that doesn't really bother me. It's not because I don't have an investment in it. It's because I don't have like a an immediate investment in it. So if I see a spoiler for it, it's not going to make me feel angry. It's not going to make me just kind of fly off the handles and be super PO'd as opposed to something like, Game of Thrones, or if it was like someone fresh out of Black Adam being like, yo, the post-credit scene was this. It's like, oh, you're an asshole. Or if someone like straight up spoils Halloween Ends, I'm going to fucking block you on Twitter because I want to watch that movie. It's a completely different kind of dynamic. But again, by that very same token, like when it comes to shows that have such a massive popularity in scale, when they're so fresh, like Rings of Power, like House of the Dragons, it's almost unavoidable to see spoilers for the show. I mean, even another example is like She-Hulk. You can watch the episode with it. If you don't want to be spoiled by it, you basically have to watch the episode within the first 6 hours of it releasing. That's and that's only just to avoid spoilers, because every Thursday morning I wake up, I either wake up an hour early and I watch the episode, or I wake up barely on time, out the door, going to work, and then I spend my day on my breaks looking through my timeline, and sure enough, there's fucking spoilers for the show, and I'm like, oh well, fuck it, that's on me, But as far as Rings of Power goes, again, like I have really nothing bad to say about it. It's pretty incredible. I just wish I knew more about what was really going on, because I'm just that kind of nerd where I like to be invested in certain things.
I think I know what he's talking about. What's good? It's pretty much.
Is that actress?
No, this was, I think Drogo's comment was up here a while ago when I showed Corliss's wife sitting there saying, and it was the caption, I don't know, did he think that was older Rhaenyra? I don't know. That's not Drogo. Relax. No, but when it comes to Lord of the Rings, it's pretty much the same for me. I not familiar with the lore, but I do remember when the first one, I didn't see it till it came out on DVD, and I watched it, and I was hooked after that. Saw the rest of it, and my mom didn't know my mom at the time. Well, I knew my mom at the time, didn't know she had read the books. And so mom was like, yeah, I read those books. I was like, really? Did you see this? And then she was like, oh, shit. And so we did end up seeing Return of the King together in theaters at this fucking fire movie theater with like a bar in the back, served us drinks. It was fire. But anyway, Return of the King is incredible anyway. So, and then you could say the Hobbit, movies were pretty good. They weren't as good as the fucking, by any means, the original Lord of the Rings trilogy was just in people who I know in my life that I was just like, you want to see what? They were like, yo, I saw, and I know people who got mad. It was like, yo, I just watched the movie for 3 hours and it didn't end. It was like, it just got people who watched the first one, The Fellowship, and they were like, yo, I've been watching the movie for 3. I was like, yo, you lucky you didn't watch the uncut version, and then thought there was going to be an ending because you'd be even more mad. But the movies are fire. The only thing about the series for me is I think if it keeps me interested. I'm worried that if it doesn't keep a lot of the people interested, that it won't go on just because of how expensive it is to make. Yeah. And then when you have a series such as Game of Thrones that's expensive, don't get me wrong, but it's not as expensive, but people are already, because this the last time most people saw Lord of the Rings anything was 10 years ago, and with this it's like 3 years ago they saw Game of Thrones, so it's like really quick to get back on that horse. And Game of Thrones, like I said, they're grimy. They know how to get you. They know that these stories and these backstabbings are going to keep you watching. And with Lord of the Rings, I think it's like where they're trying to get to is interesting, because when you watch Begin the Fellowship and they show like there's this, the backstory that happens within the first, 10 minutes, where they show Sauron get his hand cut off or fingers and the ring fall and all of that shit. Like, how did we get to that point? That's something I've always wanted to see. So it looks like that we might be on our way there. But like, hopefully it just speeds up to the point where like, because I don't want the show to get canceled, dude, because it's expensive. Yeah. That's one of the things where I'm like, Amazon Bezos, he got mad pockets. He's got other shows, The Boys, all of that shit, movies that they got and stuff. So hopefully, I just don't want them to look at this series and say, it costs a bit much. Because look, man, never seen anything look better on television in my entire life. That shit looks. There's scenes in House of the Dragon, most notably the boat scenes where the green screen is just a bit it's a bit like the background just. But then when you see those same scenes in the Rings of Power, you can see no flaws. That shit looks so incredible, and you can understand why it costs so much to make.
That's where you can see the money for sure. The money's definitely coming through in those shots.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, it is, and it's just don't get me wrong. The game House of the Dragon looks. It's just the shots on the water that to me kind of and maybe that's just the way I'm watching or whatever. But yeah. So we'll get caught up and look, man, Brian. Look, you're welcome back. Anytime, bro.
Hey, I had a blast. Well, I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, all my friends are into this kind of stuff, but by no means would they ever want to do a sit down analytical
discussion.
That's what we do, man. Besides Joey, really. That's why Joey and I have been such good friends for a long time. It's just like, I don't have a lot of friends that I can just talk to about it, like really nerd out. So I'm just to be here. I've had a blast.
Yeah, this is what we do, man. Like I said, obviously 3 episodes left of this. How many left in Rings of Power? What they got?
Like 2.
There's gonna be I think 8 episodes, so 2 more.
Okay, 2 more. Yeah. So and I was telling these guys, we were talking about it last week on the show or whatever. When that's done, gonna do that's gonna get a solo thing where we just strictly break down the first season of Rings of Power. So you are welcome there. It'd be fire to have you on there.
I'd love to come back. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, and then obviously next Sunday after House of the Dragon, we're going to be talking about it again.
I'll tune in. I'll tune into that one. I'll watch you guys do that one. I'll come back for Lord of the Rings because I know a bit of Game of Thrones, but I'm at a point where with Lord of the Rings, some might consider like I'm on the spectrum a little bit with it. Just kind of like I'm kind of obsessed. So.
Okay. I got you. Hey man, yeah. we got you. So yeah, man, that's pretty much the show, man. We get on here and talk about the shows, man.
Well, you guys got predictions? You got predictions for the rest of the season for House of the Dragon? Like, when do you think Viserys is going to die? Do you think Viserys is going to die next episode 9? Because, with Game of Thrones, it's always episode 9 where it's like, that's the
penultimate. Yeah.
But I would keep doing that.
Oh, man, I don't know if it's going to be him dying, though, man.
Would they go so low as to not even show us, like, just to string us along for 10 episodes and then be like, oh, but we're not going to show him dying? Or, you know what I mean? Like, they would just, like,
They leaked the last. It's not a spoiler. The last episode's title has already been leaked, and if you want to go look at it,
okay,
it's already out there. It's not a spoiler, but he's dead. He's dead.
Oh,
okay. All right, so that's Patty, give me the fucking nominations. And I'm serious, dude. Look, I've already thought he was great this season, but like this episode, that scene, I was like, man, that dude is killing it, man. He's fucking killing it, man. And it's just like he's lovable, and he's just the episode at the end, where he was sitting there and he's just like, how will I be remembered? And he's talking to. I was like, dude, this dude is fucking great, man. So hopefully when it comes time for award season, that dude gets some love because he is killing it, man. He is absolutely killing it. But so like I said, we'll see you guys. You'll see us throughout the week on various streams, I'm pretty sure. But we'll be back next Sunday, right after House of the Dragon, to break down that episode. And then after that, we'll have 2 left. Fucking sucks, bro. Yeah. It does, because it's Game of Thrones, man. They'll be gone about a year.
It's fine, man. After the finale, we'll only have to wait a good 2 years for the next season.
Yeah, more than a year.
Year and a half.
They didn't greenlight a season 2 because they were like, we're going to see how well this does first. So they're not shooting. They just greenlit it, so they're not shooting until March 2023. So we won't get the show till spring or summer 2024.
Yeah.
And then I think at that point, I'm sure that's going to be successful. Then they'll roll like Game of Thrones used to start.
And we'll get at least 3 seasons. I'm thinking 3 of this story of the Dance of Dragons, And then after that, they can do the Blackfyre Rebellion. Hopefully they end with Robert's Rebellion and we get to see young Ned, young Jamie, younger Tywin, young Robert, Rhaegar.
Yeah.
That will be lit.
That'd be dope. That'd be dope. All right, y'all. See you guys next week. Appreciate everybody who jumped through and posted in the comments and stuff, man. Enjoy House of the Dragon because it's fire. Enjoy the Rings of Power because it's dope. And we'll see you guys next week, man. Everybody on the panel, as always, appreciate you, Brian. Appreciate you showing up, man. It's great to have you on here. Look forward to having you on here again. And see y'all next week.